Senator Roberts.
Thank you for joining us tonight, and welcome, Dr. Hilton. I am going to put some questions on notice with regard to carbon dioxide in the atmosphere and from human production, in the interest of time, as the Chair mentioned. I'd like to have the experts or the expert or spokesman on GenCost.
Sure. Just one moment.
Oh, sorry.
Maybe I can.
Yep.
Would you like me just to begin? So we're really delighted you're asking questions about GenCost, Senator. We think that one of the greatest challenges facing Australia is the transition of our energy sector, and I'm really proud of the contribution that the GenCost report makes in this area. As you know, the report's been generated annually since 2018. It's evolved over time to take account of changing technology landscape and the availability of new data, and I anticipate that the report will continue to evolve. And we'll be pleased to take your questions.
Thank you. I've just got some quick questions to go through. I just want to get at the heart of some of the issues that I see with GenCost. Do you know what the cost of pumped hydro energy storage Snowy 2 was first budgeted as?
Paul Graham, Chief Economist, Energy Business Unit. Senator, I might take that on notice because I'm aware of the recent update to the cost, but I don't have the original figure.
The original figure was $2 billion. Do you know what it's currently budgeted at?
Senator, I believe it's in the order of $12 billion.
That's correct. Do you know how long the tunnels are for it?
Senator, no, I don't have that on hand.
27 kilometres. Do you know how much of the tunnel they've bored so far in the last, I think it's just over a year?
Senator, no, I'm not tracking that.
150 metres. It's been bogged for about a year. Do you know when it was initially scheduled for completion?
Senator, no, I don't have that on hand.
2021. Do you know when that's blown out to now?
Senator, I feel like I should know it, around 2029, something like that.
Earlier?
Senator,
2028.
Roberts, if I may, I think the official is indicating to you that you know, he's happy to accommodate your line of questioning, but these really detailed questions about the project details for Snowy Hydro are best dealt with in the environment estimates, and I know that you did in fact address some of these kinds of questions to Mr Barnes, the CEO of Snowy. So I just wonder if you might direct questions to CSIRO that they can assist with, and in particular you indicated about the GenCost report. I wonder if that you might get a better answer from the official. Sure.
They're now estimating the cost of the transmission infrastructure, which was left out of the original package, at $10 billion for it to be connected to the grid and to actually be useful. So that's making it now up to $22 billion for 2,200 megawatts of pumped hydro energy storage, which is $10 million per megawatt or $10,000 per kilowatt. We won't even get into the fact that it's only forecast to put out that capacity for an average of 26 minutes a day. What's the cost per kilowatt of pumped hydro you've provided in GenCost?
Senator, to answer that question, it's probably first a good idea to acknowledge that the Snowy 2.0 project is incredibly unique. It's of the order of approximately 170 hours duration for, I believe it was originally going to be 2 gigawatts, but I now think it's higher than that now, maybe 2.2, 2.5.
2.2.
There really isn't any other project on the books in Australia that we're looking at that has that type of profile. What we do in GenCost is we report pumped hydro projects more in the order of sort of 12, 48 hours, that kind of duration, which is nowhere near the sort of 170 hours for Snowy 2.0. So I guess I just want to...
So what's your capacity, sorry? What was your capacity?
So we have a table in GenCost where we have a series of figures on the cost of pumped hydro. I'll just get the exact data for you.
Are you asking what role Mr Graham performs in...
No. What is the cost per kilowatt hour of pumped hydro you've provided in GenCost?
So it seems I didn't bring that table with me, but essentially it's, yeah, I'll have to get back to you on that on notice, but I guess I just wanted to make it clear that that cost isn't really related to Snowy 2.0. They're related to other projects which are much smaller.
Yeah, that's what I understand. GenCost, what would it be roughly? I won't hold you to it, but just roughly.
I think it's of the order of 2,500 a kilowatt.
Okay. Snowy 2, which is a real-life project that's not even finished yet, is 10,000. So what my point is that we have got, as I understand it, GenCost is built on modelling based on assumptions projected out to the future. Is that correct?
That's
in broad
correct.
terms? Thank you. We don't know from GenCost what it would cost to replace our coal-fired fleet with solar and wind today, and all the transmission lines and all of the backup storage. How useful is GenCost?
So we made the decision to focus GenCost on new build generation and storage and some hydrogen technologies. There are other processes for and reports that deal with transmission, so that we don't deal with transmission. So we can certainly, GenCost is certainly designed for people to go and calculate what is the cost of building and replacing existing generation, but you can't go to GenCost necessarily to look at issues around transmission.
Right, and some of your opponents argue that GenCost is detached from reality. We look at Snowy 2, and I'm not implying you've got anything to do with Snowy 2, but right from the start, Snowy 2, Minister, was built, the decision to build Snowy 2 was given without a cost-benefit analysis and with a heavily redacted business case that could not be scrutinised. So what I'm saying is that you've acknowledged that you're basically building models based on assumptions and projecting it into the future. I don't think the government has got anything of what's going on right now. Is that right, Minister?
Senator Roberts, I think that you've perhaps I might get the official to revisit the evidence he's just provided about the way that calculations are developed for understanding the cost of hydro, because I don't think it's as you've described.
Minister, we've got major solar and wind installations, industrial complexes that are not connected to the grid. This is the level of planning that's going on at state and federal. They're not connected, but they've been paid for, and I think that they're earning revenue.
Senator
That's
Roberts,
the reality.
I'm not aware of the particular projects that you're referring to, but they're certainly not things that this agency can assist you with.
I guess my question to you is, something that's projected into the future based on models and assumptions now is divorced from reality. We need to know the cost now. And what I'm saying to you is, why are you building this, why are we embarking on this journey with such little certainty, so much uncertainty?
Senator Roberts, I think you're asking me about energy policy, and we have talked about it earlier in the week. We do consistently have advice from a very wide range of sources about
Could you name some of them?
firmed renewables being the lowest cost form of new energy in the Australian context. And when AEMO looks at what's required to replace all of the thermal generation that's coming to the end of its life over the next decade, then they try and model, because they need to, the transmission that will optimally connect the optimal configuration of new generation. And that's that AEMO work. It's not principally led by CSIRO. CSIRO have a capacity to contribute, and I think the official can speak to the ways that they do. But I don't wish to frustrate your efforts to have this discussion, but it's really not in this portfolio. So
Thanks, Minister, and thank you, Chair. That's my 10 minutes.
Thank you very much.
Authorised, Malcolm Roberts, Brisbane.